Good evening, guys. How you all doing out there? I've got a fantastic selection of saws out tonight, and wow, these lights are dazzling. One second, let me just see if I can so I can actually see what I'm doing. I've got a fantastic selection of my beautiful saws out tonight, and all big engines apart from one. I'm going to give you a very surprising fact about the saw with the most enormous, out of all the chainsaws, the most enormous power to weight ratio. And that isn't it. That's just there for fun. Right, let's put that go there. So I've got some of my spectacular saws out today, ranging from, wow, late 50s through to, what's the latest one out here? Actually, probably the one the video is really about, in fact, the spectacular Husky behind me. So we have got out tonight some really special girls, and it's really just to show the type of displacement that they have and the horsepower figures they have, and then I'm going to show what the Husky runs like, which is incredible. So what have we got out in her honour tonight then? In the back, the spectacular steel power saw from the 70s, 80s. That's the 76 AV. What is there to say about that monster? Spectacular, 111cc, 58mm piston, nominal 7 horsepower, monster. One of my early R12s, 90cc, nominal 5 horsepower. One of the gorgeous early 1960s, this is one of the CC News, so that's the model 116, 87cc, circa 5.5 horsepower. It's amazing actually how many horsepower figures for these 60s and 70s saws are almost the same, or they quote them the same. The spectacular Dan Arm, 110cc big piston, 63.5, and between 5 and 5.5 horsepower. And I put the Johnson's 80 on because that was well, that's still one of my favourite 80cc saws from the 1980s. What are they? A 5238, just under 5 horsepower. I think they make 3.6. So if it's 3.75, they'd be 5. So just breathing on 5 horsepower. Although I don't know how true that would be in compared to this other company. In the back, the beautiful DD8F. That's a Mark IIA, one of really late ones. Matched piston and stroke, 2-inch piston, 2-inch stroke. Gorgeous engine, 5 horsepower. And then, this girl. So this is the Husky 2100 CD, capacitor discharge, a follow-on from the incredibly impressive 1100 model. So I think the 1100s, I'm not big on the dates on the 11s, never had a nice complete 1100 saw even after 500 saws. So I think 73, the 1100, somewhere around there. The 21s I think started in 79, and so same bore and stroke as her older sister, 56mm piston, 40mm stroke, and on paper at least making 6.7 horsepower on some literature. Some places I've read it's 7, and apparently one of the, for the time, it'd be very interesting. I know this is this outstrips my 51, my Steel 51, which is again a spectacular saw from that era. That's an 89cc. Of course this has got 10 cc's more. So a nominal 100cc engine, and so she's fitted with the incredibly impressive, what we believe is the original Husqvarna 34-inch bar, and you can just make out the Husqvarna name in the bar in the daylight. Running 404 pitch, available 2 options, 404 and 3/8. So this girl is fitted with the 34-inch bar, can run, can you believe, up to a 60-inch bar, and so power to weight ratio is interesting because it's really difficult to get correct power head weight figures for these engines, and so I tend to catalogue all of them when they come in just to double check, and it's surprising how much information is wrong. And we should also talk about centre of gravity, because that's really interesting as well. The CFG point on this engine with these bars. Yeah, I digress. So you can run up to a 60-inch bar. This is running the 34-inch bar, running the 404 pitch, but you could run it with 3/8 as well. So if you'd like to run it with a 3/8 setup, just literally can change the sprocket and just run 3/8 1.6mm gauge, or put a 3/8 roller nose bar on it and change it. Just so flexible. Spectacular chain brake. So a few people have said that this is the most impressive from the 80s power to weight ratio saw, and still favoured by so many people. Let's make sure. Okay, is that off? Let's make sure that's off. Compression wise, she's impressive. And so this girl, in my ownership, has not taken one disc of wood ever, which is ridiculous, really, I guess, because you say it to people and they don't believe you, but she's never taken one disc of wood. So I think I am gonna change that tonight. I'll show it just doing one disc. So many people asked about why she's not cut with, and so that was a simple thing, really. It was because I have a lot of saws that I can cut with, that I can replace, and this is one of these girls which just, it doesn't matter where you look, it's becoming virtually impossible to replace. So I took off the other things which are really interesting. So it's never been disassembled by me, other than a service item, just to keep her fresh. So she's had a spark plug, fuel line and filter. I put a new clutch bearing on her. She has didn't do the pull cord because it still had the original plastic nipple screwed into the original cord. It's just, as a matter of course, I changed AV mounts just because. I thought the front ones, although they weren't, I thought I'd change them anyway. And I've taken off the exhaust just to photograph the piston for people, and so you can still see the original factory machine line. So you think this girl is circa 40 years old. That's just staggering. Starting to rain, guys. That's a pain. I've been out twice today trying to photograph this girl. We're going to get through it. So, never taken off the flywheel. Haven't taken off the barrel end. Piston hasn't been disassembled, not by me. All original as far as I can tell, perfect. Haven't even taken off the carburettor, and simply stunning saw. Let me show you how this girl runs. Aggressively. Right. Be kind. Okay. Choke off. Oh. So starts absolutely factory, just choke out, 1 or 2 pulls, she's primed, straight to idle, and just an imposing, impressive creature. Let's talk about centre of gravity, wouldn't I mention that earlier? So, ever so interesting. So CFG with this size bar on, she's a touch nose heavy at the front. Interestingly, at the braking point, she's nearly balanced, and the reason I mention that is if you like your history on saws, then there's a very interesting design paper for the original 1960s Husqvarna A65, and when people look at the A65 and they look almost identical to the B65 and then the other variations, and then eventually with the plate on the left hand side of the filler caps for the L65, they look identical. But when you actually look at the technical documentation, the centre of gravity gets altered on the different models, so that's an interesting subject. In fact, I need to bring a saw out and show that with it balancing, because that'll be a load of fun. So, okay, a couple other things that were prudent to mention, didn't mention in the listing. This goes up for sale. She's making way then for a, it's my addiction. She's making way for a Danon Tornado. I love Danons. Yeah, she's making way for a Tornado. So I'm swapping 100cc for 100cc, but this girl kind of is more powerful by some multiples. So things that are prudent to mention. She has on her a brand new, just under a £50 brand new full chisel chain. Forgot to put that in the listing. So she has an Oregon excellent condition semi-chisel behind me, brand new full chisel. Again, neither of them have they've never taken a disc with me. And let's put it there. She's also coming with, which again I haven't put in the listing, but I'll update it later. If she goes for asking price, she's going to go with one of my vintage Oregon bars for this engine here. Is that an 18 or a 20? Chain somewhere as well. So that's a 3/8 version, and a brand new, with the bearing, a brand new 3/8 clutch sprocket as well. So that means if any of you like to cut slightly smaller stuff with a more because this is a big bar, if any of you want to use it for more manageable work and just have that thing, you know, if you like driving big engine cars, you know what I mean, where whatever you do, they just power through everything, then you can always fit this as well with the 3/8, switch over the drum, and then just cut up and have a much more evenly balanced saw. So that's going with the girl as well, with the asking price. So I think it's an 18 or is it a 20? 18, so that's one of my 18-inch bars, brand new clutch drum, and nice chain. Right guys, how does she cut? So this is one of my chopping boards which has had a lot of use. I'm going to square her off just because I think it's as hard as a rock, and it might just be a great thing just to show people just what she cuts like. I have actually as well pulled out one of my fir tree stumps, which yeah, we might run her through that as well. Let's see. She's not taken a single cut, and according to the Climber manual, these engines are 1 1/4 open on low, 1 on high. And interestingly, I heard this from a few people now, that, you know, the carburetor needle settings are a great indication of the wear of the engine and the condition of the carb. They're set to 1 1/4 and 1, and that's exactly how she's running. So she might need altering in the cut, but she seemed pretty good to me. She's been out here in idle for nearly 10 minutes and doesn't switch off, doesn't miss a beat. Obviously new plug, fuel filter, etc, etc. She's just spectacular. Right, let's take a disc with this girl and see how she cuts. It's exciting. It's very, very exciting. Okay. Right then. The only problem with cutting with saws like this is when you go back to some of the other girls, you think there's something wrong with the engine. Right, here we go guys. Be kind. Oh, wow, she's fantastic. My goodness me. I cut one of these the other day with one of my 110s, and she struggled with the oh, look at the beautiful marbling in this wood, and she really struggled to get through. Look how clear that is. Look how clean this cut is. Absolutely clean as a whistle. Spectacular. Okay, right, that's it then. Let's put it through something bigger. Right, guys, let's move to safety. And right, let's do one more real test for her. Okay, so what is this? Okay, so we've got a 34-inch piece of fur across the butt. We'll do one disc, and then hopefully that'll give people an idea of just what these monsters are really like. They're so impressive. There we go then. Okay. Be kind. Damn, the engine's got so much power. Oh, wow. Oh, tiny snag there. Oh, okay. Okay. There you go, guys. So that's with her buried across 34 inches of wood. What a spectacular machine. Look how clean it is. My God. Guys, hope that's enjoyable. Well, it's fair to say that I think should have prepped better and put a bigger bar onto my 76 to see how the 76 compares, but I wonder if she may even have, they must be so close, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Maybe she's got the legs on the 76, I don't know. Okay. Wow. Okay. Oh. There you go, guys. So perhaps one of the singular most impressive power saws at the 100cc class made, full stop. So weight wise, not sure if I carried on talking about the weight, did I? So these girls, power head only, are on my scales they're 9.2 kilos, so if it's give or take, 5% out, circa 9 kilos, so 20 pounds for the power head. With this bar and chain on, this girl is just shading over 13 kilos, so 2.2, so 13 twos, 2.6, so 29 pounds ish, 28 and a half, 29 pounds. So give you an idea, not overly heavy. Definitely, you know, it's manageable. But just feel the weight on the nose. Spectacular for burying in the wood though. A Husqvarna restart. What a machine. Okay. Excuse me. Hey guys, there's the incredibly impressive 2100 CD, just really probably just in a league of its own. Yeah. Incidentally, this fir tree was taken down by my friend with an 880 steel, and I mean they're monsters obviously, but there's a guy I think in America that ran a head-to-head with the 21 versus a really late 395, and I seem to recall they were neck and neck, and on the upcuts, so downcuts, upcuts, I think, just with the base that these have, just the engine, just its performance, I think it was just edging the 395 on certain cuts through big timber. Okay guys. Yeah. Thanks for watching. What do you demo after this type of machine? Just incredible. Stay safe guys.